Hi, sir. Okay, okay. Sir, sir, do you have a moment? Okay, never mind. Sir, do you care about the environment? You don't? Okay, never mind. This really annoying. Sir, can I have a moment of your time, please? I'd just like to I'd just like to ask you some questions about the environment. Just, get your general feel about climate change and stuff like that. to, you know, the nitty-gritty bits of it, like turning off the lights and trying to turn off all the plugs when you leave the house. You know, you're trying to use electric. That's good. That's really good. That's actually really good. That's a really good answer. Now we've seen recently that there's a bigger push for that. Obviously, a lot of new homes coming with smart meters, and it is quite good, to be honest. It is quite good. I've used one previously in a previous home that I've stayed, that I've been in. I've recently moved into sort of like an older home, so it's not a smart meter. It's not a smart meter. But you know, hopefully the next one that I move into, it should have one. It should have one. Now, would you support stricter environmental regulations on businesses? So stuff like holding more businesses accountable for like waste production, like recycling. Like currently the one that I work for now, a lot of their rubbish ends up going to like recycling plants. So like plastic bottles, ironically plastic bottles, go to waste management sites, recycling plants, end up getting used, reused. They end up getting reused in other plastic bottles. Or recently we've seen a lot of pushes for these sort of like Lego bricks. It's like plastic bricks. They're just made of plastic, and the bricks they sort in like Lego. And a lot of governments, a lot of local councils, I believe, are trying to push for them. And you know, I've seen them since I was younger. Since I was probably in primary school. Since I was in primary school. And to be honest, to me, they seem quite cool. But yeah, would you be in support of that? You would. Okay, that's good. Now, let's just get that down. You would. Okay. Have you? Sorry, I'm trying to think. How important is protecting wildlife to you? So like the green belts, for example, protecting the green belts, protecting the green belts. How important are they to you? Obviously, seeing like a lot of hares, a lot of deer, a lot of roe deer, a lot of that Japanese deer that we see around, a lot of fish in like lakes and canals and stuff like that. How important is that to you? That's very important. That's good. Are you a walker? You are. Okay. Yeah. No. See, we actually hand on after this survey. We're gonna give you a National Trust book. It's a National Trust book. It's sort of like a thank you to you for doing this. You know, coming, supporting us, supporting the government, giving feedback on what the government should do. Really getting, into what the government should be doing. Now, how do you think renewable energy will replace fossil fuels? You do. Do you mind to explain what, like, in what regard do you think like wind energy could replace it, or like are we talking hydro, or like dams and other things like that? Solar, that's actually pretty reasonable. Yes, solar energy. Yeah, I mean we see it a lot nowadays. A lot of houses come with it. And to be honest, it's getting quite cheap now. Or cheaper than what it were, obviously, when I was younger, probably, we'll say like 2012, and I first heard about them. You know, you were pushing like £10,000-15,000 just to get some solar panels installed. But now I think they're pushing like, I believe it's like £5,000 to £6,000 for like a full house to be covered, and they make them back. You know, they make the money back. Anyway, but yeah, that's good. That's actually a really good answer. Thank you. We do apologise. We do apologise for that. How often do you shop second hand? So like, do you go to like charity shops a lot often? Salvation